Located near the southern tip of Texas in the Rio Grande Valley, about 30 minutes north of the Gulf of Mexico, on State Highway 77 in San Benito, bordering the city limits of Harlingen, is a haven of hope for children who come from neglected and abusive homes.
I ain't got nowhere to go, you know. This is the only place that will actually take care of me and give me the love I need. And this is just the best place for anybody out there that doesn't have anywhere to go. And I don't want to go back home, because at home there's drugs, there's fighting, there's killing. I don't want to go back over there. I don't. And here's the only safe place there is. And I never thought I was ever going to find a safe place.
Since 1936, Sunny Glen Children's Home has been a haven of hope for over 7,600 children. I was one of those children. My name is Joe Mireles, and Sunny Glen gave me a hope for a better life.
I want to take some time to talk to you about this building that we're in right now. It's the Joyce Kimbrough Aycock Learning Center. Well, this building right here is probably one of the most important buildings and the busiest building on campus. What makes this building so special is the fact that one of our former residents actually donated it to us. She was the first graduate from Sunny Glen at San Benito High School. She had said that one of the things that she felt the home was lacking at the time when she grew up here was the educational experience. And so she wanted to build a building that met those needs. We utilize it for different programs to help with the kids. We also utilize it to help train our staff to help manage the kids and the things that they need to do with the children. About 3 years ago, Sunny Glen decided that we just didn't want to do just the bare minimum for the children. We wanted to go into a program that met with the trauma of the children and what they face. One of the realities is that every child that comes into Sunny Glen has gone through some kind of trauma, whether it's just leaving their families or not. So what we decided to do was go invest into a program called the Sanctuary Program. And what it does is it hits our whole organization and helps all of our staff to talk about trauma. Also, our staff have been through some traumatic experiences, and we want our staff to heal so they can help heal the children. Our whole goal is to help heal these children with through counseling, through our spiritual program, through recreation. Sanctuary gives us a guide to do that. Before, we didn't have a guide. We kind of just provided care. And the reality is that children are coming from harder backgrounds than what Sunny Glen has worked for in the past. And we want to be able to meet those needs. We want to be able to again, help them heal and provide a safe place. Is basically what Sanctuary stands for, is a safe place. One more of the services I'm pleased to announce that we're going to be providing at Sunny Glen is counseling through the Promotional Counseling Center. We're really excited about what this building can offer, not only Sunny Glen, but the community of the Valley as well. We're going to do a varieties of therapy, from individual to family therapy with the children who are at Sunny Glen. And eventually we want to move out to provide counseling services to the community. The other thing that we want to do is provide more of a way of healing for the children we have at Sunny Glen with our direct care staff and our house parents providing the basic safety needs for the children. Our professional staff here will also help change the way that the children think and their families, which will help them to live more successful lives. Today I'm sitting here at the Williams Administration Building with Dr. Rosalinda Mercado Garza, one of the greatest accomplishments here at Sunny Glen Children's Home. She has not only overcome a lot of obstacles in her life, but she has also had a great professional career. She has a bachelor's degree from Abilene Christian University, both her master's and doctorate from Texas A&M University. She has served on various boards across the state of Texas and is the CEO of eColors for Education. and we're proud to announce that she is the newest board member of Sunny Glen Children's Home.
I just wanted to tell you that I'm grateful for being here today, and I'm grateful that you think that the story that I have to share is pertinent for other people to hear. One of the things that has happened since I was last here at the Children's Home, I graduated from high school 24 years ago. And when I graduated high school, I graduated from San Benito because of the very reason that Sunny Glen Children's Home was my home. And I am forever grateful for that opportunity that happened, even though it was traumatic at the time when I was 17. It is not so much that. There's been some time that I've had on my hands to be able to reflect and really think about what Sunny Glen has offered me since my graduation. Because I was in high school at the time that I came to Sunny Glen, part of discovering who I was that I was at the cusp of that here at Sunny Glen. And when I graduated, I attended Abilene Christian and continued to discover who I was. And there were some fundamental and foundational tenets that Sunny Glen had offered. And one of the things was I was baptized at summer camp, and I never had attended a summer camp in my entire life. And the fact that Sunny Glen had given me that opportunity transformed every ounce of decision making that I made and really laid the groundwork for who I was going to be speaking to when I spoke of my faith. And I even once wrote that while there was many incidences that took place that obviously brought me to Sunny Glen, one of the things that I had always entrusted was that I had a father. And even though my own father figure was not the ideal, that it was my God, my Father, that would be taking care of me and through my journey. By the time I finished with my degree at Abilene Christian, I called Sunny Glen again. And I said, have you ever had a child who went to school beyond their undergraduate degree? They said, no, we haven't. I said, well, I hear there's this thing called a master's. What do you think? Could I do that? And they said, sure, as long as you're not married. And that was real easy, right? To not make the choice to get married. And so I went on, and at that point they said, you now get to decide what school you go to. And I said, well, there's a little school in College Station called Texas A&M. And they said, absolutely, you can apply, and we'll continue to support you. So I continued on with my journey, and sure enough, I finished my master's. In the same year I finished my master's, I was married to my husband. So technically speaking, my relationship at that point with Sunny Glen, just like in any other healthy parenting relationship, had ended, but only because I was beginning a new journey. Sure. And when that happened, I took a 2-year break, and I told my husband, I really liked what I experienced in school in my higher ed, and I want to continue this journey. Would you support me in continuing my doctoral studies? And my husband at that time had said, you have to remember that you're making an investment in you. And I had not heard that verbiage in all of my years of my life, and I remember those words being very clear to finally recognize that I was a worthy investment. So healing and finding who I am is a process. There is no one fix. There is no one thing that made me where I am today. It was that journey that I took along the way that has brought me to where I am. And so I take on each challenge and each commitment that I make, understanding that it is for the good of others. And I'm grateful once again to continue my journey and my relationship with Sunny Glen, because it never left me. It was always a part of me. My husband and I have been married for 17 years. But one of the honest, if I can be frank with you, one of the things that was challenging along the ways is that my husband and I were married for 8 years before I decided that I wanted to have children. And part of that process was that I really wanted to feel that I would be a good mother. And because my parents weren't that good to me at the time that the abuse was taking place, I always questioned my ability to be a healthy mother. At the time, my husband has always known me as an educator, so I was educating other people's children. And I had a passion for the work that I did with that. There was no doubt that I was there every day. My motivation was to work with children alongside the parents and developing them and making them grow. But the irony in that, and I'm very well aware of this, is while I am flourishing along professionally, and I'm bringing children to different levels from the start of the year to the end of the year, I was still very deliberate about not having children. And I want people to understand that the decision in that is, I knew how great the responsibility of parenting would be, because I had that high expectation of my parents. And I also knew how difficult it was when you didn't have all of the resources that you needed to raise a child, because I saw those families as well. And that was my life and what I had experienced. And I did not want to be in that situation where I could not afford my children the opportunities that they deserved, and that it would be so stressful that I would become the parent that I had at the time. And I did find healing with both of my parents before they passed away. So there is no hard feelings about that. But I'm talking about the parents that were there, that actually were the reason why I came here to Sunny Glen. My mother signed a form with CPS to give up her rights as a parent. And that is the hardest decision that she could have made. And I remember vividly her saying to my father, whom she never had stood up to before, I am losing one child today, I lose no more. So if you think about that, I did not want to ever, if I started the journey as a parent, ever lose my children. But the good news is that when my children were born, that my mother got to see me as a mother. And she now knew why I valued that role so much, that it took me so much time to become that. And she also respected my decision of her being a grandmother, but not offering me parenting advice, because she was not that mother to me. To know boundaries and to know what is good for you takes a lot of courage, and it's not easy. But I took that journey, I took a stand, because I knew that my children's life had to be different than mine.
My name is Elizabeth Sparks Johnson, and this is my mother, Cianne Sparks. I'm happy to tell you that I'm a newly appointed member to the Sunny Glen Board. And while I may be new to the board, I'm not new to Sunny Glen and the work that's being done there. My father, Sam, and my husband, Alan, have both served on the Sunny Glen Board. Our son-in-law, Ryan, is actively involved in a fundraising project right now for Sunny Glen. And several years ago, our then 7-year-old grandson, Wilder, asked his friends to make donations to Sunny Glen instead of bringing him birthday presents. I tell you all this so you will know how important the work that's being done at Sunny Glen has been, is, and will continue to be for our entire family. How this all began is a story that is much better told by my dad. I'd like for you to listen to his story and listen to the determination of one man to try to make a difference in the lives of children, and how that decision has been passed on from generation to generation and has affected the lives of many hurting children.
My first memories of Sunny Glen go back to the time when I was a child. My father and mother took me to Sunny Glen, which at that time was in Laferia, and the director held up a little 3-year-old girl, and he said, "Who will pay for the keep of this child?" And my father said, we will. And then on the way home, my mother said to my father, said, how can we do this? We have no money. This is a depression that we're in. And my father said, the Lord will provide. And that was my first exposure to Sonny Glen. And I was taught very well by my father, by his seeing what he did, that I need to be sensitive about the less fortunate, about children who don't have a father and mother or have been abandoned and who are really suffering. And I know of no better place that you could put your money, or where we could put our money, than to care for hurting children and could be placed in a home where they have loving foster parents who will see after them and care for them and teach them right for wrong.
When I was a little boy, 11, cops took away my mom from me and my sister. We were left in our house alone with broken down windows, and we needed money, and me and my sister tried to look for jobs, and I thought me cleaning yards was gonna let me live on with me and my sister, but it can't, so my cousins offered me a job. It wasn't a good job, but there was no other way. The job was to sell cocaine and to sometimes drive it to other places, and so I had to do that for 3 years, and they caught me. Cops caught me, and they took me to juvenile. I was there for a month, and they told me I was gonna come here, and I thought that it was gonna be a lockdown facility or something, and I was scared. It's a lot better because I get to go to school, my grades, and I get to meet people. I get to go to church. I used to go to church twice a month or once a month. Here I get to go to church 3 times a week. I meet great people. Me selling cocaine and being in the game for a long time took my childhood away from me. And it hurt me because I would see other kids playing around with their dads and moms. It's pretty cool. And I didn't have that. Now that I'm here, I get to have fun, go outside and play. And I have to listen to my house parents, go to bed, ain't nobody ever told me go to bed or take a shower, clean your room, what parents ask you to do. I never had that, and I'm having it right here in Sunny Glen. I'm having a great childhood. Have they taught me that God's gonna forgive me? Yes, because He helped me, because He knew I needed help. And He helped me, and I prayed every night. God has actually worked on me. He's still working on me. He'll be working on me my whole life. It feels great.
We want to thank each and every one that has helped Sunny Glen over the last 80 years. You have helped us to stay relevant and have been a big part of our life from 1936 until 2016. And everybody, no matter what you have given or what you have done, has helped us to be what we are today. So we thank each and every one of you for helping the children. And we feel like God is not through with us. He has helped us through the 80 years, and we feel like He will continue to help us as long as we're trying to do the right thing towards the children.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to Him belong. They are weak, but He is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so.